Shalom, family. I hope everybody's doing well. And boy, there are so many things going on, y'all, and the signs are all there. Did y'all know it was a solar eclipse yesterday? But it was in South America. There was a solar eclipse yesterday. And I sat on time and date and I just watched it. I didn't, since it was not in this country, I did not broadcast it, but there was a full solar eclipse yesterday. And I believe on the 17th in that same region, there's going to be a full lunar eclipse. And we all know about, the Hurricane Helene that just came through. And I know we're all buzzing about the sundown towns it took out. But y'all try to reflect back to 2018. Paradise, California, the whole town burnt down in a wildfire, and that was a sundown town. I was reading that when Black families would move there, the white residents would burn their house down just to get rid of them. They did a lot of wicked stuff to our people in Paradise, California. And that whole place got taken out by a wildfire. And they tried to bring it back again, y'all. Go read. They tried to bring the town back again, and a second wildfire went through there. Where I'm telling you, when the Most High say you ain't living here again, he truly means it. They ain't living there again. Just go look. There was and I think it was earlier this year, there was a wildfire in that same area, and the same location got wiped out a second time. And I want y'all to reflect back. Most hurricanes come from those islands and all through the South. So I bet there were many sundown towns that have been hit over these last centuries that we just don't know about. But I think we're just buzzing about this because we are aware of these rural areas that are sundown towns and they all got wiped out. So, no, because you know why, Wania, you know why North Carolina is not going to recover from this? Because America has never prepared for big things to happen. Even down there in Florida, when they got wiped out real bad, probably more than 20 years ago, we went down there like 10 years later, and the same trailers that people were living in were just all stacked up. They never did anything to get rid of them. They just piled them up in certain areas. So this place is not used to major disasters. Look at what happened during the pandemic. They can't, yeah, Hurricane Andrew. And America can't handle anything big because they're too busy being racist towards us. So when it comes down to things that really count, they can't handle it. Okay. They don't wasted all their energy in being racist instead of preparing for disasters. So in North Carolina, those rural areas. Now, there was a woman that put a video out there on TikTok, and she was at the border of North Carolina and said she could smell the stench all the way over there in Tennessee, where she was at the border of North Carolina. She said she literally can smell the stench of the dead bodies, and nobody had gone in there to even get the bodies out, nothing. They said even when I watched some of the interviews, like you can go to the news stories on North Carolina and the hurricane, and even the people that are being interviewed said nobody has come through there. Nobody has come to help them. And that is America. If America don't want to deal with you, they'll just ignore you. That's how they are, you know? And usually these sundown towns, they run all next to each other. So you'll have one, and trust me, that's not the only one. A lot of times the neighboring towns are also sundown towns. And that Hurricane Helene, I was reading about it. It made landfall at a category 4. And they said that sucker was 600 miles wide. Now that hurricane was a monster, y'all. 600 miles wide. That is like insane for one storm to be that wide. But it was, and if you look, it went right through the panhandle and just kept going up like the center of that region around there. It went all the way up. Yeah, that sucker was 600 mi I was like, "That is absolutely crazy." And at a category 4, oh, yeah. It's very clear. Judgment is definitely here, y'all. It is definitely here, and that now look at all these things happening around the same time. Now you got the port strike, all right, where it's gonna be shortages everywhere, and when I say everything comes through those ports, I mean everything comes through those ports. America does not have a backup plan if they can't ship things in here, because America don't believe in backup plans. They're too busy trying to micromanage us instead of doing backup plans. So you got to think of everything that's coming through there, including medicines that are coming from overseas. Virtually everything. Every good you can think of is in those ports that are now on strike. Just look at everything that's going on. You can't tell me it's not judgment. It is most certainly judgment. Judgment is here. It is here, y'all. It is here. Well, yeah, they said, Wania, I'm glad you brought that up. 1 week on the port strike, right? If they said if they go 2 weeks or beyond, they're not going to be able to get things right until well into 2025. That's what they're saying. So you're going to be possibly looking at empty shelves, and you won't have access to a lot of things until 2025. That's what they're saying. And again, there's no backup plan. And those jobs down there at the ports are so complex. You can't just give something like that to a migrant, because they got to know how to work the heavy machinery. And they said they got a lot of very advanced equipment down there. You can't just teach some migrant that kind of stuff overnight. it would take them time to even learn it. So you can't just throw migrants and everything, because I hear some people talking and they act like, I know we're way off the subject, y'all. We'll get to the subject. And I know some people talk like they can throw a migrant in anything, and absolutely you can't. There are some jobs that require a lot of training before you can do it, especially longshoresmen. You got to have a lot of training to do a job like that. You can't take some migrant with a second grade education coming across your border, something that complex, and they gonna get it right away. No, it doesn't work that way. And those longshoremen, they know it. They know that you can't just grab up any and everybody and just toss them down there. They know that. They got um those shipping containers stacked on top of each other. They know how to get in there and get certain ones out and stuff. They don't work from the top all the time. Sometimes they got to work from different parts and pull those containers out without everything collapsing. That takes a lot of training. So, no, you can't just throw a migrant in a location like that and they can get it up and running in no time. No, wrong. Right. Even Amazon is putting out warnings that they will be short on certain things if this thing goes on for a long time. Yes, there are a lot of black shoremen, especially if y'all look at the port like around Atlanta. Oh yeah, those plenty of brothers down there doing that job. Plenty of brothers are down there. But you know what, y'all? During chattel slavery, our people were along those areas working the port. So our people actually have a history of being down at the ports working. Our folks were there during chattel slavery. They were working all around those ports even back then. We weren't just all on plantations and that was it. Our men, a lot of our men and women were around those ports working. They were still importing things even back then. You know? So, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on, but I think what the Most High is doing is brilliant. So, before we knew everything was on a spiritual level. We knew the spiritual war has been going on for a long time, but you see now the Most High has made this physical now. He's made the war physical now, y'all. Pay attention because it is real. It is real. He's making the war on our enemies physical now. And I'm just telling y'all, America has not prepared for anything. They're going to lose this physical war real fast. They're going to lose real fast, y'all. So let me get to why we are here. I know I've been babbling a lot, but I'm sorry, y'all. I am sorry. Let me get to the whole point of why we are here. Okay. Oh yeah, there's more hurricanes coming. Remember, the season don't stop until November, and the deadliest, ladies and gentlemen, the deadliest hurricanes come in the fall. The deadliest ones come in the fall, and we are in the fall. We are there. And the Father's wrath is real. It is real. All right, y'all. Let me share my screen. Let's see here, and we can get started. Yes, we can. Come on. Alright, got that one. Okay. So our 2 elder sisters who's still hanging in there, boy, it is just amazing to see how long many of our folks live. You know, these folks try to always convince us that they live longer than us and we got a shorter life expectancy, and we know that's false. You know, look, I had relatives living well into their 90s and over 100 years old in my own family. And see, these folks hate us so much. All they want to do is tell us negative things about ourselves. And the thing is, that's why I don't let them do that. And as soon as I realize what they're doing, that's why I will cut them off. I don't listen to their negative rants. You don't have to be subjected to that mess anymore. And you shouldn't. So, usually they'll tell you, "Well, how are we gonna get you reparations? You weren't a slave." Well, here you got 2 witnesses that were there in 1921 during the Tulsa Race Massacre, and they are still living, and you know what? They hate the fact that these 2 women are still on this planet. Well, we know what the Supreme Court in their state in Oklahoma did to them. They denied them reparations. Well, it is an election year, and now the US Department of Justice is getting involved, but y'all, this is nothing to get excited about because at the end of the day, none of these government agencies ever did right by us, and the US Department of Justice is one of them. They don't have a strong track record of looking out for the best interests of our people. Am I excited about this? Hell no, I'm not, because I know they're doing all of this because of the election. And you can best believe the outcome is going to be all the same. They know how bad it looks. You got 2 people that lived through one of the worst race riots where they drop bombs from airplanes, and they are alive telling their story, and they're still being denied any type of restitution. So it's not whether you were there or not. It's not whether you were a slave or not, or, it is all about you being in their eyes, a black person. And they got to do all that they can to keep everything away from us, especially reparations. That's what it's really all about. It is not about, "Oh, you weren't a slave." Well, these folks that are getting reparations, they weren't there either. The ones that these Indians and these Jews that are getting it for the Holocaust, many of them weren't there. So I don't know where you think you're going with that argument. What Indian that's getting reparations was at the Trail of Tears? Which one? So you can miss us all with that "you weren't there" argument. That's the weakest argument you could possibly come up with. That is some weak crap. That's weak. So anyway, let's get into this lame behind story from the US Justice Department, which at the end of the day, y'all, it is just for show because the Democrats want to win. They know when this thing fell apart in Oklahoma Supreme Court, it looks bad on them, and it continues to look bad on them. And so now they got to get up and ruffle around papers and move around scissors and pens to make you think they're doing something. So, anyway, late Monday, the U.S. Department of Justice, the DOJ, announced it plans to launch the first ever federal investigation into the 1921 Tulsa Massacre, the Race Massacre, which hundreds, if not thousands, were killed. And that was not only the worst thing that happened, many of them were displaced and many were forced into internment camps. Now, they will only tell you that, the Japanese and, the Asians were put in internment camps. No, ladies and gentlemen, our people also were put in internment camps in this country. And it occurred in one instance, it occurred in Tulsa. Okay, so don't let them make you think only Asians or Japanese people that were in the country were put in internment camps. No, our forefathers were also placed in internment camps. And it happened in 1921 too. And we've been told a lot of fairy tales, and withholding the truth is also a lie. Okay? When somebody only tells you half of the truth and not the whole truth, that's a lie too. So, when they were placed in internment camps, they were overseen by the National Guard and the Greenwood thriving neighborhood. Remember, the white mobs only show up if the black town was thriving. That's the only time the white mob would show up, y'all. So these folks were surrounded by National Guardmen in internment camps, and we know they just looted, decimated, stole, and burnt down and threw bombs on Tulsa. You know, that's why when they talk all that, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, we have many instances. Over 200 black towns were burnt down because those towns were thriving, y'all. They have to make us look like we are needy and destitute and we need help all the time, and they got to give us welfare. That's a damn lie. When we are left alone, we can hold our own, and we got a proven track record of that. That's why the white mobs kept showing up. So, anyway, the review launched by the Civil Rights Division cold case unit. Well, I don't know why it's a cold case, it's recorded history. Comes after a major setback for survivors and descendants of the massacre. In June, Oklahoma Supreme Court dismissed a lawsuit brought by two survivors, Leslie Benningfield Randall, 109, and Viola Fletcher, 110. In July, the women once again called for Biden and the Justice Department to intervene, but they're not going to do anything. Look, these folks are on code. It doesn't matter if it's the office of the presidency, these folks are on code. Kristen Clark, the assistant attorney general who announced the DOJ's reviews, called the Tulsa Race Massacre one of the deadliest episodes of mass racial violence in this nation's history. Yeah, it is, but this has been played out multiple times in this country. So, they just talk all the fluff. Oh, we honor the victims and all that stuff. They bring up Emmett Till, but y'all let Emmett Till's killer go free, and she ended up dying at the age of 88. Y'all didn't do nothing to her. That's why I'm saying, and see the Justice Department step in on the behalf of Emmett Till. Carolyn Bryan, she died what, a year or two ago? And they didn't go out. They knew where she was. Look, our people found her. So if we could find her, we know darn well the DOJ, but y'all remember what happened in Mississippi when they found the warrant. They refused to enforce the warrant. That's why I'm saying this Justice Department, whether it's on the state level or federal level, they don't have a track record of helping us. That's why I'm saying they're just doing this because of the election. I'm going to keep repeating it. So, ladies and gentlemen, the sick part is they give people tours through Tulsa, down the blocks where the riots happened. So they're denying reparations to these women, but Tulsa is pocketing all kinds of money, taking people around in that area with on tours, capitalizing on our pain as usual. They won't miss an opportunity to do that. So, in a statement back in June, that's when the Oklahoma Supreme Court completely denied them. We are deeply saddened that we may not live long enough to see the state of Oklahoma or the US honestly confront and right the wrongs of the darkest days in American history, the 109 and 110-year-old. We are elderly and we know that we're living on borrowed time. Oklahoma and the United States of America has failed its Black citizens. This failure is profound, systemic, and marred by lip service and clever platitudes. Yes, I agree with that. And that's all this investigation is going to give y'all. It ain't going to do anything but give some more lip service. And it is, they're just going to hand these women another fistful of nothing. That's what they're going to get. Look, Tulsa happened 103 years ago now. 103 years ago. And the survivors have been fighting for a long time. And they haven't seen one dime. And when this federal investigation is over, they will see not one dime. That's what they love doing with us. They love telling us there's going to be studies, they're going to investigate, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, and it ends up being a bunch of nothing. And they have been doing this to us forever. Look at all the people in our community that have been shot unarmed, and the police investigate themselves and find no wrongdoing in shooting someone that was never a threat to the cop in the first place. And we have seen ourselves get denied multiple times, and they're not going to stop doing it. They're not gonna stop doing it. They're gonna continue to do it. So they want you to watch and think, "Oh, well, maybe they'll do something for these women finally." They're not gonna do nothing. Whether Kamala or Donald Trump get in office, these two women are gonna get absolutely nothing. They're gonna get nothing. And I doubt once the election is over, you probably won't hear anything else about this. Very little. So, no, I am not excited that the DOJ is involved. I'm not excited about it. I don't think this is good at all, but that's my opinion. You know? So, they are trying to win an election, and that's why this is coming up. It's not coming up for any other reason. So, y'all, and plus, think about it. They're fully aware that the Democratic Party is fully aware that the Black vote is not a guarantee this election cycle. They have heard, they're watching what we're saying online, and they're watching us say, "Oh, nope, I'm sitting on the couch. I choose the couch." You know, they know. They've heard us talking, and they are listening, and they know that a lot of people don't have their back this time around. They know it. They're listening to us say, "Well, they haven't done nothing for us." And then they always list things that they've done for everybody and claim that something for us. No, because when it came down to other people, you specifically did for them. And see, they're still trying to get around it by telling us, "Oh, well, when we do for everybody, it impacts Black people." Well, why don't you tell them other groups that you did things for? Why didn't you tell them Asians that we already got laws on the books? You don't need no crime bill. How come you didn't tell them that? What laws we got on the books for everybody also impacts Asians? How come you didn't tell them that? So they see that the support they once had is waning away. They know this is happening, and they know that things are not the same. They can feel it. Trust me, they know. They're listening to everything we say online. They are listening to everything. Mhm. So y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope everybody enjoys the rest of your day. Thank you for your support. Thank you, Dark Skin Brother, for the Cash App. Thank you so much. I do appreciate the support. So, everybody, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll come back again on a different topic. Shalom, family.